Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning.
A podcast where we share with you great insights about everything family from over 30 years of parenting 7 kids and over a decade of equipping parents through our Crazy Cool Family ministry.
So let us inspire and equip you to build your best family.
Hello, Crazy Cool Families. We are so excited to talk to you today. My mom, Suze, and I are getting together virtually. Wish we were together physically.
It's way more fun when we're together physically.
But we're talking today about celebrating family is the topic, but specifically celebrating years and years and years and years and years of parenting that my mom and dad have done. And really just kind of bird's eye view and asking my mom some questions, getting some insight from her on her parenting experience. And if you've been following with all these seasons of the podcast, we've done kind of different themes every year, but we've focused a lot on the parent to kid and the kid to kid relational lines this year. And so it just felt pretty fitting, like as this year and this fall is kind of coming. Dawn and Sue's mom will share a little about this. They just dropped off our littlest brother, McCade, at college.
Yeah, so it's been about a month now. Yeah.
Yes, they're officially empty nesters and moving into having adult kids, inheriting the spouses, and then also stepping into grandparenthood, all these pieces of life that are like moving forward. And so we want to celebrate it. One, we're like so excited to talk about it and even venture into the unknown of all these new seasons that my mom and dad are stepping into. We just want to spend a little bit of time today talking about kind of where they've been and like what they've learned. And they do such a good job of like talking to parents and meeting them right where they're at. But I just kind of wanted to pick her brain a little bit of like, hey, what are some things you've thought about over the years? 7 kids, 30 plus years of parenting. You're an empty nester. You know, we want to talk about these different things. So I'm literally just going to rapid fire ask her questions. It's probably the most you're going to hear my voice. And I'm just like literally looking and like I told her, she was like, what's kind of the agenda of this podcast? And I was like, it's like if parents got to go sit on a coffee date with you and just ask you, like, what are some things you've learned or what are some revelations God's been giving you that you've been collecting and hiding away in your heart for the last 30 plus years? So excited to talk to you, Mom.
Yeah, I love it. I love being asked questions. My internal introvert self loves to, and then the teacher servant in me loves to respond. And so that works out great. It has been a weird season though, this empty nesting. That has been weird. And I didn't realize it that all my friends are already empty nesters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I should have remembered it because I still had a toddler and a little kid when they were, well done having babies. And so it's been really weird. They've all gone before me. And I am not the expert on it at all. And so they've all been coaching me and telling me, well, how are you feeling? And what are you doing? And you need to do this. And you need to get reacquainted with your husband. And you need to act like you're, back in your honeymoon stage and, you're dating again. And I'm like, wow, okay. And so anyway, it's, I'm looking forward to what you have to ask and where the Lord leads us.
Let's do it. Okay, well, question number 1, we're going to look back, starting with just things that you wish you could tell your younger self, specifically about raising kids. I'm sure you could monologue about all the different things you'd want to tell your younger self.
Let's talk the rest of the time on that.
This is the one question for this whole episode, but specifically, what would you tell your younger self about raising kids?
Yeah, oh my goodness, I think about that. And I think I would tell younger moms as well. So if you're a young mom out there and you're listening, I'm telling you this as well. But what I would have told Suzanne is, and we hear it all the time that it goes so fast. We know that. And to live in the moment and to appreciate it and not worry so much about the stuff and pay much more attention to the people. And the reason I think that that's valuable, I see that as valuable now is because I get to do that with my grandkids. And I've even had to learn that. Like I want to come in with my daughters and I want to clean their house for them. I want to mop the floor and wipe down the toilets and just help them out because that's what I wanted as a young mom, somebody to come in and do the things that I'm always having to do. And I'm so torn between that and sitting on the ground and playing with a baby, playing with a grandbaby. And that was my struggle, even as a young mom. Do I sit down on the ground? And all of my kids would say, Mom, I don't remember you playing with me. And, I don't remember that. And so I think that I would tell my younger self to sit down and play with my kids and not worry so much about the things that need to be done, because they're going to get done, or they're not going to get done. I mean, and so the toilet doesn't get scrubbed today. Okay, well then it's going to get scrubbed tomorrow, or it's not.
Yeah.
And at some point in time it will. And so, but that 1 year old is going to be a 2 year old, is going to be a 5 year old, is going to be a 10 year old before you know it.
Yeah. I don't
So
remember if it was you or if it was a different mom that told me this
a
recently.
different mom. How many have you
Different,
had?
not different, my mom, like another mom out there in the world
Oh.
that has lots of children. I can't remember who the conversation came from. I know she was a mom. I just don't know if it was my mom. But basically, she was saying the same idea of like connection is so important. And when you choose connection, you're actually choosing capacity. And she gave the example of like investing in her kids and her relationship with her kids so that they became siblings as best friends. So then they would go off and play together for an hour or 2 hours. And then she had the capacity to like
Absolutely.
scrub the
Yes.
toilets, do the dishes, whatever. And it's like, it's same with investing in siblings fighting. It's like if your kids are fighting all the time, then you feel like your whole day you're playing the referee. But if you invest in your kids and like spend time with them and build them up together, then you have the space. You're not playing referee all day and you have the space to go do stuff while they're independently playing or working on something. And so it's like your concept can go even deeper. It's like connection is so important because the kid is more important than the task. But
Right.
even deeper than that, once you start having multiples and you're in a busy season, you're kind of creating your own capacity based on the connections in your family and the strong family relational lines. It's like the same with your husband. If you spend all your day fighting about stuff because you're not connected and you're not unified, then you don't get to, have the space
Yeah.
to do fun stuff together. I don't know. Just an interesting
Exactly.
concept that I've been thinking about a little bit from that mystery conversation.
Of
I
your
can't
other mother.
remember from that other mother. Okay, so kind of in the vein of connection, with such a big family, how did you balance the chaos in the connection piece?
Yeah, I think I'm unique in that I can multitask really well. I think I've got just enough ADHD, or whatever, ADD, whatever that is, that I can go from task to task to task, and my attention can be pulled from one thing to another. But I don't function well in chaos, and I never did. And so I know that one of the ways I guess I connected you guys in the chaos was that we would stop everything and clean up. We'd set the timer on the microwave, and we would do a 5 minute cleanup, or we'd a reset before nap time and before bedtime, so that we weren't constantly living in chaos. Um, but I think that one of the things I think that we did well was that one or two of us would sneak off. Like I remember sitting in the car with you having conversations. And so the best way I guess I connected in the chaos was to leave the chaos behind and
Hide.
and take the one or two kids with me, and then we would connect, outside of or away from the chaos. So either get away from the chaos and connect, or connect through the chaos, turning the chaos into order.
Yeah, it's really good. Was it harder with the more children? Like finding those ways to
Well,
connect?
you know what? It was the more children was never harder. The age gap made it difficult because I fully wanted to be in the world with the teenage girls, and I fully wanted to be with my toddlers and my
Yeah.
preschoolers, that and their lives, when they needed their naps and they needed to be potty trained and they needed to have space at home. But the teenagers, we were needing prom dresses, and the homecoming, this and that and the other, and I wanted to fully be present for both of them. And that was the hard part. It wasn't so many kids, it was the age difference. Molly was 17 when McCade was born, and
Yeah.
so I had a newborn her senior year. And any of you out there that have not had a child go through their senior year of high school, it's a very demanding year.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of deadlines, and the yearbook alone wants so much from you.
And it's
um,
emotional. Like it's like so many lasts and so many, like
so
my
many.
big, I think I was a senior when McCade was in first grade or something like that. And I just remember like homecoming week just being like, you're so small but old and I'm so old, but we're still little, you know, like there's just like
Yes,
all this
yes.
emotions going on too of like growing up and walking with your kid through that.
Exactly. I think about that too. Your senior year, and that was McCade's first year in school,
Yeah.
as a first grader. And so there's two really big things happening
Yeah.
that year. I think that, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
would like
that was,
walk and pick him up because we were at the same school, and I'd walk down and pick him up from lower school. And he just was so talkative, this and this and this. And I was like, wow, you've been at home for too long. You know, like you're thriving in your little first grade moment. So good. Chaos through connection or sneaking away from the chaos to find connection with
yeah,
with the one or the two. I think that's so good.
yeah.
Okay, next question, kind of on the topic of parenting. We know that parenting shapes us and it shapes our kids. How do you feel like God refined your character through parenting?
Yes, I would say if it was not for my kids, I would be a radically different person. Because I needed God. I needed I was selfish, I was self-centered. I was angry, I was easily frustrated. And if I didn't have and if I think that if I didn't have so many kids coming at me with all of their needs and all of their wants and their desires pulling at me all the time, I think I probably would have stayed in that place.
Yeah.
And I could not. I mean, and so I heavily depended on God. And then, and when you've got, even if you just have just one child, the fear alone of this world and the things that can happen to them. I mean, I laugh all the time because you're like, you know what? I kept my kid alive for another day. This is successful. I might not have done anything right, but I kept my kid alive. And so I just think that that's very real. And so just the fear alone forces us to need God and depend on God in a very high way, in a very big way. We need God. And so, with that, and then there's needing God just to live the life and be the mother, the parent that we're called to be. But the other part of it that I think is so important too is that more than anything else in the world, I wanted and needed and insisted that you guys have your own relationship with God. And so I could have talked about it all day long, but I had to show you. I had to have my own relationship, and I couldn't be a hypocrite and I couldn't fake it. And so I had to love God to show you guys how to love God. Just like I just think about like your little Selah right now. She watches us go TT on the potty, and we tell her all the time, I'm going TT on the potty, and someday you're gonna go TT on the potty. And for a little while, remember she tried, and you're like,
Yeah.
Mom,
She
I'm
thought
so
about it.
mad at you for talking to her about this.
She's
Um,
not ready.
and I'm not ready. I'm
I'm
8
not
months pregnant. And
ready.
I'm not picking her up and cleaning, And it's like, you're right, you're right. I'm just paving the way. I'm paving the way. And that's the same way with what we do with our kids when it comes to loving and following God, is we tell them what we're doing along the way. Oh, I talk to God. I pray to God all the time. I ask God for you to be, a blessing and to be helpful. And I ask God to protect you and keep you safe. And so it's the same thing. And so I think that, like I said, I would be a radically different person, have a completely different character, if I didn't depend and lean on God for my role as being a mom and a wife. I mean, that's a whole nother category in and of itself. I can't imagine how anybody stays married without God in the middle of it.
Yeah. With
So.
kids, especially.
And then with kids, yeah, you put that in there, and with a job, and a mortgage. I mean, it's like, how do you live life without God? I can't. Yeah,
In-laws.
yes, and other relationships and neighbors.
Any
I
other
mean, it goes
relationship,
on and on and
really.
on.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of segues perfect into our next question. How has your marriage grown stronger through raising kids together? So you said this very bold statement of like, I don't know how people stay married without Jesus at the center of their family, but flip the coin, and how has God strengthened you and dad's relationship in your marriage through parenting, and like raising kids together.
Yeah, we mentioned that we are empty nesters, and we've been it for a while, and we've had these conversations, and it still feels very new. And we came to the realization, I don't remember exactly when it was, that it was like, oh wow, what we have had in common for 36, 35 years of our 34, 35, I can't remember how many years we've been married. 35 years of our marriage, the thing that we had the most in common was being parents,
Yeah.
raising kids. And that's what we've had in common. And that's what we talked about. That's what united us. And so to now not have that, it's like, wow, we got to find something else to have in
Yeah.
common. We've got to have something else that we can talk about, that can connect us, that can make us want to um, have a conversation and hang out with each
Yeah.
other.
So
And
you're taking
so,
up pickleball? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
well, he would love that, and he's very good at that. And yeah, I think he'd probably kill me, but I think that yeah. So we don't know yet. Maybe we're going to go to museums. I don't know. We
Fantasy
haven't
football.
decided.
Y'all gonna
We've
play
been very
fantasy football
busy. I don't.
together?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it, I mean, I think it not only has it gave us something common and a common goal to work toward together when it came to raising our kids, but the other thing I think it did is it helped us like encourage each other when we were doing, like, when he did something good and right in parenting. Like I shined in parenting because I love relationships, and so that was something that he admired me in, and so he
Yeah.
could encourage me in that. um and or if there was something that we weren't doing good in parenting, it was also a place where we could speak into each other's lives and say, what would you think about, do this. And so we learned a lot how to interact with each other. I mean, and then, I mean, the thing I think about too is that, like, we loved all of our kids, and we have great relationships with all of our kids. And so how terrible would that be if we didn't have it with each other?
Yeah.
And so it's like we had to, okay, well, if I'm going to have that relationship with them and they're just a little you, then I should be able to have that relationship with you. And so, and that is our favorite thing to do, actually, is to look at each of our kids and say, oh, they've got that from you.
Yeah.
McKay's logical, that's you. Macy's emotional, that's me.
Yeah.
Michael likes to, work with numbers, that's you. Molly hates numbers, that's me. Anyway, it's fun to do that. So, yeah.
That's what I feel like my marriage has kind of come to embody because of watching y'all's marriage, is like a cornerstone or a pillar of marriage is to get to be a teammate. And I feel like you guys were a teammate with almost a full basketball team. Like you almost made it where you could scrimmage, but it was like that element of even like simple things like you've said all along the way, like we would sit next to each other at dinners and we wouldn't let our kids all sit in between us because we were a team, and like
Yeah.
just little things along the way. Like you guys would get away for date nights, or you'd take your weekend or one night trips together around your anniversary. Like, even though family was all consuming, you still found a way to connect with your teammate. And it almost made you better coming back into parenting, because it's like, I'm not doing this alone. I have a teammate that I'm bouncing ideas off of, that's helping me. That's like, we're strengthening each other to do this, what we believe is like the highest calling in our life, our mission. And I just like feels like that's translated into my marriage too, of like, I love Jared. I want to be married to him till I die. Like that's the connection. None of that is questionable to me, but it's like I'm on this crazy adventure with him of trying to raise tiny humans. And I
Mhm.
don't know if I could do it without him, and
Right.
I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to experience all of the moments. Like I remember you would say y'all would like lay in bed at night and you would just give updates to dad about us, and how the day
Right.
was and how you were a part of it. And I was like, I do that with Jared. I'm like, and then she did this, and then Sayla did this, and I can't believe you missed this, or like, remember when and he works from home, so he actually sees a good bunch of it. He's like, you didn't see this, but she did this, and like we just kind of replay our day together.
Yeah, I remember thinking, it's us against them. We're the adults against the kids, that, hey, you're on my side. Like, you can't be a brat and you can't be
Yeah.
immature. You can't throw a fit, because I've been with that all day long. You need to be
Yeah.
an adult, you need to be a logical adult. And so I remember
Contribute.
thinking that. I remember thinking, okay, it's not so much us against them, but it's like, and then as y'all started getting older, then more of y'all joined the team. More of y'all joined the adult independent. It's like I don't
Yeah.
have to wipe Don's mouth. I didn't, I don't have to take care. I didn't have to put it. I never once tied his shoes. He could do that. I didn't
That's in
pull his
like the
teeth
next
out.
20 years. That's
I
what's
know that's where
coming.
we're headed there.
We don't have to
Y'all
talk
are
about
coming
that
home to
yet.
do that. Y'all are coming home.
Oh no. Okay, couple more questions. This is a good one. Just really honing in on prayer, faith, the local church, community. Like, how did that play a role in your parenting journey?
Yeah, I can't say enough about the local church. I mean, we couldn't have I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have raised all you guys without the help of our community and our church and the families that y'all grew up with. I mean, we just had a baby shower for you, a couple months
Mhm.
ago, and the families that we've gone to church with for forever were there.
Yeah,
The families that literally that came to my house the day after you were born. I
yeah,
mean, those families were there at that shower, and I just think that deep community like that, I think that this new generation is having a hard time finding that because people are
yeah,
so transient and they're moving so much. And so, I mean, it's, what's the saying? It takes a village. And for us, I mean, it very much did. All of y'all's friends were within this, the realm when y'all were smaller. I mean, when you got bigger, it all changed a little bit, but we was just, we were all there together doing the same thing. And so I think that that's it. And then we all had the same faith that was in common. We all, believed the same thing. And so I think that you guys were surrounded. And so even if you wanted to bust out of your faith, there was somebody else to pop you back in and
yeah,
say, oh no, we believe this and we do this and we love this. And so I just think that I don't know if I could have raised 7 kids. I guess maybe we could have raised you guys out on the prairie if it was just us, but I don't know in the world if you don't have a community and a faith, then I think that it's so much easier for the enemy to come, kill, steal, and destroy. I just see like the
yeah,
picture that I see is like a little sheep pen, and we're all in the little sheep pen, and we're all, with all of our people in our community, and the fox tries to get in, but it can't. It's can't get in because it's pinned in. But if you don't have that community, then you're kind of left to be unsafe. So I think it's valuable and important.
yeah.
Sure.
Well, and I think prayer and faith too, like you emphasize the community piece, but I think there were so many seasons of us covering families in prayer or families covering us in prayer.
Hmm.
And I think that's a pretty strong piece of community too, is like you don't want to be alone in the battle that's unseen. You want prayer warriors. Like I just remember there was a girl, a mom at our private school, and she was a prayer warrior. She was a teacher and she was a prayer warrior. And she had like a prayer closet at her house. And she, like, every time I saw her, I felt the presence of God because she was someone who and she would always say, I'm praying for you. I'm like believing and
Hmm.
contending for you. Every mission trip I
Hmm.
went on, she just covered us and like really actually did it. I didn't just say she was praying for me, but I like could feel her covering, and so you talk about
Yes.
like a physical community, but I think it's also like a spiritual covering that the body of Christ brings. And in parenting, that feels especially important because your kid starts to rebel or your kid starts to stop talking to you, your kid starts, to struggle in a season. And we had that in different seasons with different kids. It's like prayer's powerful. Contending for breakthrough is like really important in
Yes,
family.
absolutely. I completely agree. So
And
many
like you
times, and
won't have
anytime
that
we,
if you don't have a community of believers.
yeah, anytime we moved into a new house, we had a community of believers come over and pray over our house. I mean, yeah. Couldn't have done it. Wouldn't have been as successful, I don't think, if the prayer, the faith, and the community weren't there. So very important. If you don't have that, I encourage you to start with prayer. Find some people in your life that you can invite into praying for you and your family. Ask God to give you faith, more faith, and then look for that community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Any
see.
more?
Yeah. I want to talk about you having adult kids. I feel like that's the season that you're in. So, how does it feel having adult kids, and what brings you the most joy?
Adult kids are the absolute best. It's totally worth it. And I remember when you guys all went off to college, and I remember like wrestling with the Lord, like, are you for real, God? Like, just when they got to be really cool, and they weren't high maintenance and needy anymore, and they were actually helpful and a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed them. And they were my best friends, and I want to hang out with them all the time, and they want to hang out with their own friends, and it's so annoying. And then they move away. Like I just remember thinking like, wait a minute, what this is the most backward system ever. When they're two, I want them to be gone all day because they're unruly,
Rotten.
and they're just bratty and bossy, but when they're anyway. And so, but now you take that to the next level, like that's the young adults, but now you've got these adult children that are now married, and they're having children, and it's just so amazing because what happens is the gap between mom and child closes, and it closes as you guys, you adult children, start having your own lifetime experiences, and we start having much more in common. And so now, while you and I do have a role of mother daughter, and I have one, with each of the kids, we all, that's not our only role, and that was our only role for, whatever. But now we have in common that we're wives, and
Yeah.
we're trying to figure out what this marriage is like. We have in common that we're parents, and I get to watch you guys be parents, and you're so much of a better parent than I was at your age. I mean, you're just, it's just like you're just so proud of your kid when they do something good and they do something well or right, or when they do something funny. And then to see your kid doing that in their relationships with their spouses and with their children, it's just next level. It's just the most incredible thing to see them do something right. Like the other day, Madeline, one of her daughters was hitting her. She was, Juliet was throwing a fit, and she was, whatever, 2-year old, 3-year old, tired, exhausted, whatever. And Madeline's just laughing at her. And I was like, wow. I mean, how old is Madeline? Did she just turn? She just turned 30. She's 31.
Yeah, she's
She just
31.
she just turned 31. And I'm thinking, wow, at 31, I don't think I would have handled it like that. I don't think I was mature enough. I would have been like, do not hit me. You do not hit your mother. That is wrong. And she just grabbed her and, stopped her from hitting her, obviously, and held her really tight. And she was like, I can tell you've got a lot of energy. I'm going to put you down on the ground, and you need to go do jumping jacks, or you need to go run around. I can't even remember what she told her to do, but gave her an outlet for her. And I just remember, I was just like, I'm just so proud of you guys when y'all, and then Macy, the way you interact with your little girl, Sayla, I mean, she is an absolute delight. And parents, that's what we're called to do, is we're called to raise our children to be a blessing and a delight. And you
Yeah.
guys have done that. There's not a brat in any of them. Y'all have done such a good job of raising them just to be so much fun. And so, I mean, we quote Selah all the time. I mean, she's 2 years old. She barely talks, but we're literally quoting her little phrases all the time because she's just hilarious. And so that's it. That's a very long answer to that. Brings me so much joy to see you guys in your adulthood doing it well and doing it right and enjoying it and enjoying and embracing life and choosing life. So,
So good. Well, and I think it's kind of what every parent would say they want. Is they're like, yeah, I want a great relationship with my kid, but really I just want them to like do something that's worth me being proud of. Like if they're
yeah,
like really honest at their core, they're like, I just want them to like, live purposeful and confident, or I really, it could be different for every parent, but it's like, I really want them to like know what their dreams are and go after them. It's like whatever their
yeah,
little niche is of like,
absolutely.
this is what I
Yes.
aspire for my kid to be. It's like, or do or have, it's like every parent desires to be proud of their kid, and that's
Hmm.
often where the most like mother, father, kid, parent wounds happen is when the parent is not pleased with the child or the parent expresses disappointment or like just a lack of feeling proud for the kid. And then you hear like, I even have stories of that with dad. Like like to know that he's proud of me is one of the biggest confidence boosters or stabilizers in my heart as a daughter, as a kid. And it goes both ways. You know, it's like the parent wants that,
Absolutely.
the kid wants that.
Yeah.
And to see that or to have that joy, it's like the utmost satisfaction.
Yeah, and so to any to all the moms out there, I just want to tell you you're doing a great job. Whatever it is you're doing a great job. I believe it. There's a lot in there. You maybe you're doing something that's not great, but you're doing a great job. You're waking up, you're showing up, you're loving your kids, you're serving your kids, you're doing a great job. But if there's anybody out there that's listening that doesn't have small children at home, you've got adult children, that I encourage you to encourage them
Yeah.
and to tell them what they're doing right and that you see it and that you're
Yeah.
proud of them. Because believe me, they know what they're doing wrong. They
Yeah.
don't need anybody to tell them what they're doing wrong. They're adults now. They see it. They know it. Maybe their spouse is even telling them they're doing it wrong. Maybe their kids are telling them they're doing it wrong. So they don't need their mother or their father telling them they're doing it wrong. So you find the things that they're doing right and you tell them about those things. And then
Yeah.
they will start thriving in those things, and that's what we want. So,
Yeah.
all right, you got any more? One more question?
Well, I kind of feel like you're already landing the plane, but this is kind of the last question I want to ask. It's kind of a combo thought, but like I think I would say all of your kids would say, everybody that's ever really known you would say, like, what did Suze choose to give her life to? I think across the board, people would say her family, like her kids, her family, her marriage, like she made it her main thing. And so I just kind of want to hear from you, like, why do you think, or why did you choose to make family your main thing? Like, why was it worth it for you? And I feel even if you're listening to this and you're in any season of parenting, like this is kind of the what I want you to take away from the podcast, I guess. Like everything my mom has shared is so great, but like the bottom line of our whole Crazy Cool Family ministry is like we believe family's worth it. And so,
Absolutely.
mom,
Yeah.
why do you believe family is worth it, and why have you made
Yeah.
that kind of your life's dream or your life's purpose thus
Yeah.
far?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that we're given so much time on this earth to do, what it is that God sent us to do. And I think that we are called to do, I mean, I think we're called to do a bunch of different things. But in my mind, for me, the highest calling that we have, that we get to do, is to be parents. I would say to be disciple, to be a fisher of men. I would say that's the highest calling.
Yeah.
And so the best way to do that is to be parents, because you get 18 years living with somebody under your roof, and you get them from the very beginning. And so
Yeah.
you get to mold and shape them, and you get to have some genetic input. So they're a little bit like you. And so you like the things that are good about you, and your spouse, you like those things that are in the child, and the things that aren't good about you, they need to be worked on. And so you get to kind of double work on them, with the Lord and through the kid and with you. And so it's the highest calling that we get to do here on earth. It's the most valuable use of our time, to invest, mold, shape, and train the people that God has given us, the little people, the gifts. I just think it's the most important thing that we get to do. And so looking at it from that perspective, for me, it was very easy for me to say no to anything that got in the way.
Yeah.
Whether that was a career. I mean, I remember in the third grade realizing I want to be a school teacher. I want to be a school teacher because I want to be in the school system when my kids are in the school system, and off when they're off. I wanted to spend as much time as I could with my children. And I did get my teaching degree, but I didn't use it for very much because I just kept having children. And so I was just pregnant all the time. And so it didn't. But when I finally stopped being pregnant, when McKay went into first grade, I actually did go back and taught in the school system with y'all
Yeah.
for several years. But yeah, that's what I would say, that it's a calling. And as parents, if we will see that, if you will see how valuable, important it is, and that it is a calling, and that God equips those that he has called. And If he's given you a child, he's called you. If you've adopted a child, he's called you. If he's put children in your life, he's called you. If he's given you a husband or a wife, he's called you to family. And so therefore he's going to give you what you need. You just have to ask for it. If it's patience, if it's understanding, if it's unconditional love, he's going to give that to you. And then that's the coolest part of all, because now you're literally partnering with the creator of the universe in his creation, because that's what his people are, to create. And so we're partnering with the creator of the universe in his creation to create. We get to create. We get to create and mold and shape the moments of each day of our children's lives. We get to create, memories and morals and values, and it's just so exciting to get to do this. So blank, your child's given to you. Guys are about to have these new babies. Blank slate, blob of blank slate is going to be handed to you, and you're going to get to write all over his little life. You're going to get to write that Jesus loves him. You're going to get to write that you love him. You're going to get to write that he's smart and that he's kind and that he's brilliant and that he's been sent to build the kingdom. I mean, that's power. I mean, that's control. I mean, if you're, and so that's, there you go. Can you tell I'm passionate about it?
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Totally. Well, and I just kind of want to finish out the episode with that as an encouragement. Like maybe rewind the last 2 minutes and listen to it again the next time you're
My
like,
soapbox. You want to listen to my soapbox again?
Yeah. Just go find Susan's soapbox. We'll put it on social media or something. Like the next time you're like, why did I choose to have children? Because I'm like,
this is hard and not
everybody, yes, everyone hits that wall at some point. And it's like, I can't undo what I've done, but I kind of want to run away, and like tap out that feeling. And I think what you're hitting on and what you've experienced and now what you're starting to like reflect on and think about is like, was it worth it? Was all the sacrifices, was all the late nights, was all the like hard seasons and all the questioning, all the feelings of wanting to tap out, like, was it worth it? And what I'm hearing you say is like a resounding yes, because of the product, because of the fruit, because of all along the way getting to see how God did it. It's like, it wasn't how Suze did it. It's like how
that's
God
exactly,
did it.
yes, partnering
and
with
that's
him.
like kind of the point. It's like we get to the end of our lives. It's not about our accolades. It's not about our riches. It's like, what did God do on earth and how did we get to be a part of it? And
I would do it all again, and I would do it from this perspective all better, because I would include even more of God. I would get even more out of the way and invite him in even more. So,
well, we say, it's like a common phrase we say a lot, but like we really do believe at Crazy Cool Family, like family is God's idea. And so if you're not doing it with God, you're probably not having that much
hard.
fun. It's
like, hard.
Probably regretting it a little bit. And like,
I'd be miserable.
You might not want to do it tomorrow morning, or the next time. So it's like, take hold of this philosophy, if you will, or this idea that my mom has kind of chosen to hold on to and live out, is like, family's worth it. And it's worth it because God made us to do it. And it's the highest calling we get to have. And we get to essentially work out our salvation every day with God through parenting and through loving our kids and through loving our spouse. And like, not that you're even close to the end of your life, Mom, but it's like getting to the end of this section of your life. It's encouraging and it's challenging as a brand new mom to be like, okay, is that my perspective? Am I really inviting God in every day into the moments? And am I going to look back in 20, 30, 40 years and be like, wow, Jesus, that was so fun that we did that together. I actually know you better now because of having kids, because of saying yes to family, because of like making family my main thing. And so we just want that for you, moms and dads. That's what my mom say all the time. We're like, we just want to hand parents this playbook, this idea, this concept of like, family's so worth it. Here's how you invest in family. Here's how you do it with God. And like, it's his idea. And we want that so bad for parents. So we hope that's your takeaway, is like, wow, Suze loves family. She's done it for three plus decades, and she would do it again.
Recommends it. She's wrapping it up.
She puts her stamp of approval on children.
2/3 of the way done.
And it's like so good. And it like I like it's so sad to hear parents come out on the other side of parenting with their adult kids and they're just like, oh, parenting was the hardest. It's like,
That
well,
was
yeah,
hard.
hard doesn't mean bad, but for
Yeah.
some people it does. And so we want hard. We know it's hard, but we want hard to end up in rewarding and good and like fruit of your life and like fruit of your relationship with God. So thanks, Mom, for sharing all your thoughts.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Dad do the same thing. I'm just sure his is gonna be so different. But I also think there's gonna be some unity and common threads. I'm excited to see what he says. Anything else?
Absolutely. No.
You want to share?
You want to wrap us up?
I'll wrap us up. We're really thankful for you guys. Go check out the rest of this season. All 300 plus episodes we've got out there. Have a great rest of your holiday season. And as always, go be crazy, crazycoolfamily.com.